season, each Path of the Draft episode, team mock drafts. We're kind of be doing 2-round, giving our best fits for that team. And first, we're going to do me and Charlie's favorite teams. You can see, very fitting that we have the Giants poster in the background. We'll be giving you a Giants mock draft, giving our kind of first, our 2-round mock draft around there. But Charlie, I go to you first. Obviously, you're very indulged in this. We both are. But obviously, the Giants' first-round pick, only one in the first round. Later, we're 25, right?
25.
25. Who do you like them to take there? Because there's a wide spectrum. You could go receiver. You could go edge. You could go corner. You could go offensive lineman, interior offensive lineman. I think, really, I don't know what they're going to go with here, but what is your take?
No, I actually really like this pick. I'm going to be honest. I think this is one of the better years to be drafting at the back end of the first round.
Yeah,
I think the receivers are going to fall towards that back end of the first round. I think some of the top players in this draft, potentially an edge rusher or two, drops to that back end. Inside offensive line, you've got guys like Osiris Torrance, Luke Weipler, potentially. I actually really like the back end of this first round. Even corners. You look at guys like we'll talk about corners later, so I'm not going to bring up corners right now. And this is a spot where I actually don't have the Giants taking a corner. At pick 25, for me, this is an easy one. I think I'm going with one of two guys, and that's receiver out of Boston College, Zay Flowers. Giants lost Richie James. Giants lost Kenny Galladay and Kadarius Toney. And I think, with Wan'Dale Robinson coming back from injury, Zay Flowers could be a nice addition to that offense. Obviously, though, they signed Paris Campbell, re-signed Darius Slayton, re-signed Sterling Shepard, signed Jeff Smith, signed someone older, Jamison Crowder.
Yeah.
So for me, the best pick would not be Zay Flowers. I think I would like that pick, but for me, the one guy I would take at this pick if he falls there is out of Florida, Osiris Torrance.
Yeah, I love him.
We have not talked about offensive linemen yet in this path to the draft, but I'm going to give you a sneak peek. Osiris Torrance is my number 5 player so far in this NFL draft class. And I think he won't get taken earlier because he's a guard. I think that's the only reason. This guy is excellent out of Florida. He's got the size. He's got the skill. The Giants need an offensive lineman, an interior offensive lineman. Especially, we lost Nick Gates. We lost John Feliciano. Both starters on that interior of the offensive line. Need to replace one. Osiris Torrance is the guy.
I love the pick with Osiris Torrance. I think Zay Flowers is a little bit like, obviously, when we talked about receivers last episode, you compared him to Wan'Dale Robinson. I think a guy, Quentin Johnson, who we might see fall, I would love the pick there just because he's a true number 1 guy. He's like Kenny Galladay with the size.
Yeah, totally get it.
I would love Jordan Addison if he falls, but I love Zay Flowers. I just think that gives us a smaller receiver room where you kind of want a target guy, which I guess Slayton is.
I mean, Isaiah Hodgins emerged as that player for us last season, and Darius Slayton's big.
I think there are guys there. I would have no problem with Zay Flowers, but I do like the pick there. I think first round, I think it's either, I agree, Osiris Torrance or Zay Flowers, and I think maybe we like Emmanuel Forbes out of Mississippi State at corner. Maybe if one of those high-end top 5 corners falls, like maybe a Joey Porter, Deontay Banks, we go there. But I really do like the wide receiver inside offensive line selection.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll go to the second round now. Who do you like there?
The second round, this might be my favorite pick for the Giants here. And this isn't if he falls. I think this is a guy we could see go in the first round. So if the Giants see him at pick 57, I think we'd be really lucky. But I think it's definitely possible because at linebacker, Drew Sanders out of Arkansas. I really like this guy. I haven't watched a lot of film yet, but I'm excited to dive into his film. This is a big, physical linebacker who, excellent tackler, excellent in coverage, great run defense. This is the best linebacker in this year's draft class. I've seen, like a Trenton Simpson comparison. I like Drew Sanders so much more than Trenton Simpson. I think this is an easy Drew Sanders one for me. I think Trenton Simpson had the same problem as we talked about Myles Murphy earlier. Talented guy, but I don't know if he'll get it done in the NFL. I think Drew Sanders could translate to the NFL very easily, and he is a big physical presence. I really like Drew Sanders at Arkansas.
Yeah, I like it. I think linebacker's a smart pick. I think we do need kind of a field manager there.
I mean, we signed Bobby Okereke, which I think is a great signing, but someone just go sit behind him, sit right next to him. Yeah, I think that's a really good pick. I think we need a sideline-to-sideline guy. Again, I haven't done my linebacker rankings yet, but I think Trenton Simpson will be my number 1 guy just because he's a freak athlete, which I think the Giants never really have had on the defense, at least the back end of that defense. And I think Trenton Simpson, good in coverage. I haven't seen much of Drew Sanders, but I've heard the same things you've said. So I think linebacker there is a good pick. So I like it a lot. But I guess we'll go into kind of the third round pick you have here because I do like it.
And this is a guy who a lot of them have taking first round, sometimes second round, and that's obviously who you have, Lucas Weiler or Weipler.
Luke Weipler, yep.
Out of Ohio State. What interests you about him for the Giants?
Again, this is more of a scheme fit. I actually really like Luke Weipler. Didn't do a lot of scouting on him. Centers, like, do we really care that much? I'm trying to focus my time elsewhere for you guys, but I really like Luke Weipler. I did a lot on Osiris Torrance, but Luke Weipler's a guy who I have seen mocked in the first round, but I think is an unlikely first-round pick.
I was mixing him up with the Wisconsin interior offensive lineman. I'm forgetting his name, who I've seen the Giants draft.
Joe Tippmann.
Joe Tippmann, yeah. So
that is a player that I dislike strongly, by the way. Not a first-round pick. That's like the Cole Strange pick of this year's draft. Yeah. But for me, Luke Weipler, I think if he falls to the third round, I think it's an easy pick for the Giants. If you add Osiris Torrance and then you put right next to him, right in the interior, right in the heart of that O-line, Luke Weipler, you've got a really young, really good offensive line to build for Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley. I think, I've talked to my dad about this. He's, knows enough about football. He's a Giants fan, and he can tell watching these games. Like, we can all tell the offensive line just sucks.
Yeah,
it was an improvement last year, especially on Andrew Thomas, but we need more improvement, especially losing Nick Gates and John Feliciano, who are both starters. That's why I have Torrance and Luke Weipler in the third round.